Hey, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel where we talk all about gentle skincare, sometimes self-care, and today we're talking top 10 best-selling sunscreens at Yesstyle. I'm back with another one. So Yesstyle recently released their top-selling products in each category for mid-year 2024, and I actually did a video covering their top 10 toners. That was a really interesting one, some unexpected picks in that video. Check it out if you haven't seen it already. But I did want to cover their Sunscreen top 10 sellers as well. This is what's really popular. This is what people are buying right now. So if you're interested to find out all the products that made the list and my thoughts about them, give the video a big thumbs up and let's get started. Beauty of Joseon Relief Sunscreen. I was not surprised to see this on the list at all. I mean, this has been popular basically since it was released, and I actually released a review about this product right around the time that it was released, and I think it was 2021. That video, to this day, is still one of the most popular videos on my channel. It gets so many views every single month because people are still so interested in this product, and I personally think it's really great. You know, it's SPF 50 plus PA plus 4 protection. It's a chemical sunscreen. I think it offers really good protection. And it is a sunscreen that feels really moisturizing. I think for folks who like to replace their moisturizer with their sunscreen, this is a really good one for that because it does offer a good amount of like creamy moisture to the skin. And so it can actually save a lot of time in the morning. I personally love it in the winter time because of that creamy moisture. I need every ounce of moisture that I can get. My skin, it's combination, but it turns so dry in the winter. I also live in Wisconsin, so like our winters are not a joke. So all of the snow and the ice and the wind and just the harshness of the season really take its toll on my skin. This is one of my favorite sunscreens for winter time because of that. And I think it just has really good performance. For me personally, my skin loves moisture. So this has a really nice finish to it. It's not too shiny, but just a little bit dewy. It works well underneath makeup for me. And I don't detect a white cast really on my skin until I layer this up 2 to 3 times. There is a Tinosorb M in here, which while being a chemical filter does have a little bit of a stronger kind of white castiness to it. And that is going to be apparent on deeper skin tones. So just be aware if you have a little bit more melanin, if you're blessed in that department, right, you will start to notice a little bit of a castiness to this particular sunscreen. I do get a lot of questions about this sunscreen about like, will it work for my oily skin? Like, probably not. It's not my first recommendation for those with an oily skin type. It's not my recommendation for those who do not want a lot of moisture or creaminess or, you know, even like a little bit of like a medium weight feel to their sunscreens. This is not going to be it for you. You're going to find it feels heavy. You're going to find that it feels greasy to you and your skin type. So I like to be very clear about that. It's not a universal fit. I do think it's a great sunscreen, but please know that it does offer quite a bit of moisture to the skin, and that's not going to suit everybody. Skin 1004 Hyalu-Cica Water Fit Sun Serum. I love this sunscreen. I am so happy to see it here on the list. Not surprised, but you know, whenever you have a favorite, right? And then there's like a list, like somebody makes their favorites videos, or, you know, like Yesstyle publishes a top 10, you're like, I feel validated because my pick is in there. It is a sunscreen that, you know, unlike Beauty of Joseon, where I really like it for the moisture that it brings my skin, I love that this doesn't feel like much on my skin. It is so much lighter weight than the Beauty of Joseon sunscreen. It does work for me in pretty much every season. I've been reaching for it a lot in the warmer weather as just like a casual sun exposure type of sunscreen because it just sinks into my skin so fast. It really doesn't leave. I like a little dew, to be honest with you. There's a little bit of dew to this, but it doesn't leave my skin like overly wet looking, greasy, shiny. I don't love that. There's a fine line, right? And this just walks it perfectly for me. I always say it's a sunscreen I forget that I put on in the best way possible because it's just not bothersome. Super comfortable. It's a chemical formulation. I think it has good protection. I don't think it's great protection. None of the sunscreens that we're talking about, when I say great protection, let me hold on, because you're like, wait, what? What I mean is none of the sunscreens in today's video are water resistant. So they're not really going to stand up to a lot of sweating, to a lot of humidity, to activity, right? All of these are like daily sunscreens. And what that means is you put it on at the beginning of the day and like maybe you commute to work. Maybe you go walk the dog. Maybe you go run errands, but you're not spending outside like playing basketball for hours or sitting outside, eating lunch exposed to the sun for a few hours or gardening, right? Or hiking or kayaking. It's literally like none of the sunscreens in this video are for you if that's what you're looking for. You need water resistance. And so that's where I said like it's not great protection because it's not offering that. But for a daily exposure, I feel very protected with this. For casual exposure, I feel very protected with this. This is what works really well underneath makeup for me. Roundlab Birch Juice Moisturizing Sunscreen. I was not surprised to see this as a bestseller either. This is another one that's been popular for quite a few years, pretty much neck and neck running with Beauty of Joseon, I think. It came out just a little bit after, or it became popular just a little bit after Beauty of Joseon, I think. But there is a lot of conversation right now about viral products, right? And are they worth it? And are they actually viral? And I will say that there are some products that do become viral to begin with, but they actually maintain popularity over a longer period of time. And that to me shows a quality product. And I would say, while the Roundlab's not my personal favorite, it is one of those viral products that has actually maintained its popularity because it was viral like 2 years ago, and yet it's still a bestseller at Yesstyle. There's something to be said about that. It is delivering worthiness, right? People do like it. They are returning to it. And I do like the texture of this. Another chemical sunscreen here. It has a really airy feel. It is actually similar to the Hyalu-Cica texture where it feels kind of like a water gel-like texture. Very good absorbency into the skin, not overly shiny or wet looking once it is settled onto the skin, and a comfortable, I think, breathable type of sunscreen. For me personally, there's a little bit of essential oil content in here, so it's just never going to be a daily thing for me because my skin is sensitive to those ingredients. And so I just avoid them. And that's just my personal thing, right? And that's why I was talking about like this is something that has maintained popularity. Just because I don't personally like it doesn't mean it's a bad product. And I used this a few different times, and every time I'm impressed with the texture, the breathability, the feel of it. I totally understand why this is a bestseller. Cosrx Aloe Soothing Sun Cream. Speaking of another product that has been popular for many years, way more many years than Roundlab has, right? Been popular for many years, and that says something, right? I think we are in such an intense period of viral hype. We don't know what to trust, right? And I really do look to those products that have been around for a long time and have been popular for a long time. That really tells me something about the product, and this is 1000% one of them. This is also another one of those products where it's like, not for me personally, but I can still say it's a good product. I actually like a lot about this, and I think what really makes this popular is the texture. It looks like it's going to be this heavy cream, but it actually just like melts down into a really thin gel. So breathable, so lightweight on the skin. It absorbs in really fast, and it really doesn't leave like a greasy, moisturizing finish. Like a lot of sunscreens can do that to your skin. You're like, oh no, all of a sudden it's like, what is all this on my skin? This really is just so pleasing in the texture, so easy to use. There is some alcohol in here, denatured alcohol, and that is such an amazing ingredient for sunscreens. Like, I personally am very sensitive to this ingredient. It does not suit my skin, and that's just me. But I love alcohol in a sunscreen formula. I can actually use alcohol, denatured alcohol, on my body, so I always look for it in my body sunscreens because it makes the sunscreen absorb and dry down fast. And there is some fragrance in here too, and some fragrant compounds. Again, not my favorite for my personal skin, makes me itchy, but it smells good. Like they really nailed the scent of this. It smells like a really sophisticated, modern, very light, floral scent, and I actually really enjoy it. I find it very pleasant from top to bottom. Beauty of Joseon Matte Sun Stick. Now, I really like this. When it was first released, I gave it a very favorable, positive review, especially because I feel like there's not that many matte sunscreens on the K-beauty market for sure. There's a whole host of reasons. Like, it's kind of hard to formulate a sunscreen that's not shiny, but I think also the majority, I know not everybody, we need matte sunscreens, but the majority of people do want a kiss of dew to their sunscreen. And so I think that this is unique in that it claims that it's matte, and it actually does deliver on a matteness to this. There's not really a shininess, which is great. And I do also feel like this sidesteps the pitfalls that many sun sticks fall into, is where they can kind of get a little waxy. They can get a little balmy and a little thick on the skin. And while that can be good, it also just cannot feel cute. You know what I mean? Like, it can just feel really heavy and like pore clogging on the skin. So I really like the airiness of this, the dry touchness of this sunstick. It's a really, really interesting texture that feels amazing on the skin. And if you're looking for something matte, like, definitely this is a great one. Skin 1004 Hyalu-Cica Silky-Fit Sun Stick. That's right, the sunstick version of the Hyalu-Cica sunscreen. This one really surprised me too. I do feel like sunsticks are stepping their game up in the last year. This one has such an interesting texture. Again, sidestepping the pitfalls of waxy, balmy, greasy sunsticks. This, I would say this does actually have a matte finish as well. But what's interesting about this is you apply it to your skin and it definitely feels silky when you're applying it. There's just a little hint of dew, but not too much, quite honestly. And I really feel like once it absorbs into the skin and settles, the dew goes away, but it almost has like this airy, powdery finish to it. I think like oily skin types will adore this. It's so breathable. It's so lightweight. It doesn't feel like this heavy like wax layer on your skin. It feels very, very like, yeah, very matte in a good like silky, comfortable, breathable way, not drying, but just dry to the touch. And your skin actually feels softer for having this on. It's a really interesting sunstick for sure. But another one that I like because of that dry touch. It's on and it's not going anywhere. It's not transferring to your clothes. It's not like, you know, shifting your makeup at all. So another a handy one for reapplication, like I said, over makeup, if you like to do it on your hands or other parts of your body. Really, really, really pleasing texture.
Isntree Hyaluronic Acid Watery Sun Gel. Now, I forgot to include this in the filming of the video, but it is part of the top 10 bestseller list. It's a chemical sunscreen using 6 filters. Now, some of these chemical filters are the older generation, so beware if you have sensitivities. It does have the watery gel texture like the name suggests. It feels really cooling and refreshing and breathable, but it does have quite a dewy finish that some folks love, like I do, and some folks really hate. So be aware that it is very shiny in the finish. You can hear more of my thoughts about this sunscreen in this or that, where I compare Isntree against Beauty of Joseon and Skin 1004. I'm going to link it on the screen right now.
Tocobo Cotton Soft Sun Stick, another sun stick. I have to say, you know, looking at this roundup as a whole of the best-selling sunscreens at Yesstyle, I am not disagreeing with any of the individual products on this list. I think they're all actually very, very good. I have no disagreements, right? However, what surprised me about seeing this as a whole was how popular sunsticks are becoming. Have you noticed that? It surprises me because, as I've mentioned already many times, like, sunsticks can be kind of gross and like not cute. But the newer ones have really stepped up their game and really improved on that not cuteness of sunsticks and have made them incredibly handy. And I think just more people are getting educated about sunscreen, how important it is. And I think more people are opening up their minds to all the different ways we can incorporate sunscreen into our daily routines. I love sunsticks for my purse. They are so handy for carrying around. Yep, I love them for sure for my hands, but they also are just something I don't have to worry about opening up inside of my purse because they're mess free. You know what I mean? I travel a lot with sun sticks too because I can take them on the airplane. They're not a liquid. And so they're very handy for that. They're great for reapplication on the go. You know, it's also something that I recommend a lot for maybe like men who aren't super into skincare or sunscreen, but you want to like start a daily habit. You're not really into creams. The sticks, I think, are just a cool application. And you know what? It takes everything, right, to get people into sunscreen. Some people latch onto certain things, and I think the stick application can be incredibly handy for those who don't want to be too immersed in their skincare like experience, right? They just want to put it on and go and be mess free with their hands. Sun sticks are awesome. So that was the biggest takeaway, I think, for me personally, is just that people really are getting into sun sticks. Now this Tocobo one, I tried it actually a couple of years ago. I can't remember too much about it. Because quite honestly, when I tried the Tocobo sun stick, I also was trying the Tocobo the cotton sunscreen, like the liquid sunscreen. And that one blew me away and impressed me a lot more than the sun stick did. And so that's the one that like, I'm like, oh yeah, this Tocobo one's really, really good. But the sun stick, was good. I do remember that. I know it smells very nice too. It has like a really fresh, like slightly fruity, floral, fresh scent to it. It dissipates very quickly, but I remember thinking like, this is a fragrance I can get on board with. Like, I really like the smell of this. It did not irritate my skin. I found it to be very comfortable. It didn't really blow me away like the way Beauty of Joseon did with the matteness, or the way the Skin 104 did, which is that light powdery airiness to it. It didn't feel heavy and waxy, but it didn't make a huge impression on me. So I have to say, I was surprised for sure about the amount of sun sticks on this list, but I was also surprised this sun stick was on here just because I don't know. It's just me. It didn't really wow me. I didn't really latch onto it in any way, but I do like Tocobo, and I do like their cream sunscreen, so I can see why people might be gravitating towards their sun stick as well. Canmake Mermaid Skin Gel. This is number 01 clear version. Now, this is surprisingly the only J Beauty product that made the list. And that's not to say that J Beauty doesn't have good sunscreens. They have excellent sunscreens. Some I think better than some of these top sellers, quite honestly. But the thing is, J Beauty just does not have the exposure in the mainstream skincare community that K Beauty does. That's a whole separate issue. That could be a whole different video. The reasons why that may be, it's just not as popular. It is such a if you know type of thing, and it kind of always has been. Anyways, this Canmake sunscreen, I think it's really great. It's a little tiny. It's about 40 milliliter, which most of these sunscreens we're talking about is about 50, which are also still very small, but it's even smaller than that, right? So it's a little bit of a tiny bottle, but I do find it to be a very affordable, great sunscreen if you for sure want something with dew. The word mermaid skin gel is referring to the fact that this is a sunscreen that is going to give you a lot of dewiness to your skin, a wetness, if you will, to your skin. And it is really sold as like a works great under makeup type of sunscreen. This one being a hybrid sunscreen, so they're using chemical and mineral filters. Because there is that hybrid there is a bit of a white cast to this. It's not full on white cast, but it's definitely going to not work as well for deeper skin tones, so please keep that in mind. The texture of this reminds me a lot of the Cosrx Aloe sunscreen, that gel texture that really just melts into your skin. It's very thin, breathable, lightweight, and just not bothersome. It's not something that's heavy on your skin. And I think that's another reason why this is great for under makeup and why they really position it that way. Canmake is also a makeup brand, quite honestly, so they know how to create a sunscreen that's going to work underneath makeup. Not only do you get this really beautiful mermaid skin dew, but you're also getting this really beautiful light gel texture that's not sitting on top of your skin, greasy, and like making your foundation shift around. You know, when you put foundation onto something really emollient and moist, it doesn't always work out very good. This definitely has a nice smooth finish to it, almost a very, very faint, like primer-like grip to it, quite honestly, while maintaining a nice glow without a greasiness. Haruharu Haruharu Black Rice Moisture Airy Fit Sunscreen. Ah, yes. This is one of the popular sunscreens that has just been in my orbit, but I haven't quite gotten around to using yet. I finally bought it for this video, and of course, I will be giving it a more thorough testing period, and I will share my thoughts with you. I was actually surprised to see it on the list because I know it's popular. I just didn't know it was that popular to make a top 10. And so I was like, okay, for sure, it's time. I am really impressed with this off of my first first impressions with this, because it brings in a lot of qualities of different sunscreens, but in a unique and fresh way. And honestly, it kind of feels like Beauty of Joseon Relief Sunscreen and the Skin 104 Hyalu-Cica Sun Serum had a baby. It brings in so much of what I love about those two sunscreens. The moisture and creaminess and the protective feel of Beauty of Joseon, with more of the light airiness and breathability and comfort of the Skin 104 Hyalu-Cica sunscreen in the same bottle. It's so strange because it's a cream, it's moisturizing, it makes your skin feel really soft and silky. There is a moisture element here, and it's definitely not like a wet gel, like hydrating type of sunscreen. There is almost like a balmy occlusivity to this. It's definitely got presence on the skin. It's just not as heavy as Beauty of Joseon. And it's light and airy, but it's not as, like I said, not as wet and gel-like, and sometimes that can translate to feeling and looking kind of shiny on the skin. I think it dries down really nice. It has a very pleasing finish. It feels comfortable, feels very protective. I like that combo of like moisture but not too heavy on the skin. I think another one that a lot of folks could replace their moisturizer with easily with this one, but again, it's not as weighty as Beauty of Joseon. So maybe if you liked a lot about Beauty of Joseon but it felt heavy for you, I think you might like this one. I did not realize it was as popular, but now that I've tried it out a few times, I'm like, ooh, I'm really starting to get into this. So I'll definitely update you on my thoughts about this one, but I totally get why it made the list. Fascinating top 10 bestsellers, right? I mean, my biggest takeaways is K-Beauty is the king or the queen, if you will, of sunscreens for sure. And, people are really picking up on sunscreens. They are becoming incredibly popular. Very surprising, right? So I'm curious, out of these 10, do you have any favorites or something that you feel should have been on the list and wasn't? Let me know in the comments below. If you love this lineup and you want to see more videos like this from me, but you haven't hit subscribe yet, please, I would be so honored if you'd come join our community, especially if you love K-Beauty, especially if you love deep diving into skincare. That's what my channel is all about. Turn on notifications so you're never out of the loop. Thanks for being here with me. I love you so, so much. I do hope that you are healthy, happy, and safe wherever you are in the world, and I can't wait to talk to you in the next video. See you soon.